ねえねえ、今年のクリスマス何するの？知らない。
Wow, that's rude.
Hi 皆さん、こんにちは。Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome to the Real Japanese Family. So today I will be teaching the difference between わからないand 知らない。My students always ask, Miku sensei, is 知らない kind of rude? Not necessarily, but in some cases, it can mean I don't care. So it's important to know the difference between them. Hey, if you thought, oh, it's too basic, I already know it all. I will be teaching more deeply about 知ってる、わかる、わかってる、わかってない as well. And they are not necessarily taught in the textbook. So I think you learned something new today. Okay, so let's get into it. Before that, you need to know the meaning of わかる and 知る. So 知る expresses that something that the speaker wasn't conscious of enters his or her consciousness from outside. On the other hand, わかる expresses logically understanding something that the speaker is conscious of. And very important thing is that 知る expresses an instantaneous change. And if you want to say I know it as I have the knowledge about it, you're talking about the state that you know. So you need to say 知っている, 知っている instead of 知る. So we usually omit this e, so we would say 知ってる, 知ってる when speaking casually and 知っています, 知っています formally. So you can use 知ってる when you have a knowledge about something.When you know a book or a movie, you can use 知ってる, 知ってる.
Oh, by the way, if you want to ask, do you know Miku? You can say, Miku 知ってる? Miku 知ってる? And if you want to answer that question, like, I know of her. Not like she's my friend, but I know that she exists or I have heard of her. You can say, 知ってる, 知ってる or 聞いたことがある. 聞いたことがある I have heard of her. But if you want to say, yeah, I know her. And if I'm your friend, you'd say, 友達だよ。友達だよ。Casually and 友達ですよ。友達ですよ。Formally. Or if I'm your classmate from high school, you'd say, 高校の同級生だよ。高校の同級生だよ。同級生 is classmate. Or for example, if I'm your friend's little sister,You'd say, 友達の妹だよ。友達の妹だよ。So you would explain to the listener who I am and how you know me. And if we are not too close, you would say, 知り合いだよ。知り合いだよ。Casually and 知り合いですよ。知り合いですよ。Formally. So 知り合い means acquaintance. So you have met me, know my name and my face, and you maybe had a chat with me before.But we are not too close, then you would say 知り合いだよ。知り合いだよ。
The dictionary form 知る is almost never used unless you're using it in noun-modifying phrases like 知ること, knowing, or 知るために in order to know. But what you need to be careful is that when you say I don't know, you need to say 知らない。知らない casually and 知りません。知りません It's not 知ってない。or 知っていません。だから気をつけてね。And わかる is a non-volitional intransitive verb. It basically means it has been understood or it's clear. And unlike 知る、わかる already expresses a state. So normally we would say わかる、わかる or わかります when we want to say it's clear to me.If you say わかってる, it means totally different thing. More on this later. Anyways, if your teacher says ここまでわかりますか? Is it clear so far? You can say わかります It's clear to me formally and わかる casually. You can also say わかりました I understood it formally and わかった casually. But if you heard an explanation for the first time and understood it for the first time, you would naturally say わかりましたformally and わかった casually. わかった is like I got it or I see. I understood now. So let's say if you ask me, what does ただ mean? タラはどういう意味 ?And I explain to you and you want to say, Oh, I understood it. Oh, I see. Then you would naturally say, わかりました or わかった。Because you're not saying it's clear to me. You're saying, I got it. I see. So it's more natural to say わかった here. You wouldn't say わかる when you ask someone and someone explain to you. And also, if I tell you something and you want to say okay, you can say わかった。わかった。例えば、私がみんなに明日8時に来てねって言ったとして、okay って言いたいとき、わかったって言える。You never say わかる in this situation. People actually say okay or 了解 when speaking casually, and when they're speaking formally, they might say okay です if they can be friendly with that person. And this is a little bonus for you. You can use わかる when you want to say I know what you mean. Like if I say 今年は時間が経つの早いね。今年は時間が経つの早いね。And you want to agree with me? You can say わかる or めっちゃわかる。It's like I know exactly what you mean. So when you want to agree with someone, you can say わかる casually. And 皆さん, I want you to be careful about something. If you say わかってる, the meaning changes completely. わかってる basically means I've understood that before you told me. So わかってる conveys the nuance that it's not necessary for you to tell me. Please stop telling me. So a kid or a teenager would say this to their mom a lot. 言っときます。気をつけてね。あ、おじいちゃんにお土産渡すの忘れないでね。わかってる。ケン、もう7時半だよ。朝ごはん食べた？まだ。早く食べないと遅刻するよ。わかってるよ。And if you say わかってない, it means it hasn't been understood. And we use it when we criticize someone's fundamental idea about something. So let's say, for example, there is this person called Sasaki-san. And Sasaki-san is talking to his boss very friendly. Then people might say, 佐々木さんは上下関係というものが分かってない。佐々木さんは上下関係というものが分かってない。佐々木さん doesn't understand hierarchical relationships. So they are basically saying 佐々木さん's fundamental idea about hierarchical relationship is wrong. So 分かってない is used to say like you just don't get it. So when people have a fight and they criticize the other person, they might say 何も分かってない。何も分かってない。You just don't get anything. You don't understand. Okay, now finally let's get into the difference between わからない and 知らない。First, I'd like to mention that people might say わかんない instead of わからない when speaking casually. So if they say わかんない, it means わからない。Okay, so if I ask you この映画知ってる? It's totally okay to say 知らない. Actually, it's not natural to say わからない because I'm just asking you whether you know it or not. If I'm being formal, I would say 知りません or 見たことないです. So if you want to just answer whether you know it or not, you can just say 知らない or 知りません formally. And if I ask you, for example, レイチェルどこ出身か知ってる? レイチェルどこ出身か知ってる? And you want to say, I don't know, you can either say 知らない or わからない I'm not sure. The difference between 知らない and わからない here is that with 知らない you're just giving the fact that you don't know. But わからない gives a nuance that I've tried to answer it. I put in effort to answer that question, but I don't know. So when people ask you with interrogative words like どこか知ってる? 何時からか知ってる? これ何か知ってる? You can use both 知らない and わからない but わからない is slightly more polite because you can show that you tried to answer that question or you thought about it but you don't know. But if I'm being formal, let's say my boss asked me レイチェルどこ出身か知ってる? It's more polite to say わかりません than 知りません as you can show that you try to think, but you don't know. Okay, let me give you an example. So, let's say someone asks me, この映画知ってる? And I don't know it. Then, I would naturally say 知らない or 知りません because the speaker is simply asking me whether I know it or not. But if someone asks me この映画の監督誰か知ってる？この映画の監督誰か知ってる？ Then the speaker is not simply asking me if I know something or not. That's something that I can try to think, right? Then I would either say 知らない or わからない but わからない gives a nuance that let me think わからない you know like I try to think but I don't know I'm not sure わからない Both are fine. It's not rude to say 知らない here because it's natural not to know. But let's say if I ask you 今日何するの？今日何するの？ And if you say 知らない it can come across as cold. Like, I don't care. Don't talk to me now. Because the speaker is asking your plan. So with the question, レイチェルどこ出身か知ってる? It's normal. It's natural not to know. Therefore, it's okay to say 知らない. It's totally okay. But with 今日何するの? The speaker is asking your plan. So it's normal to put in effort to answer that question. Like, I try to think or try to answer, but I'm not sure. I don't know. Then you need to say わからない or you can also say まだわからない I don't know it yet. Because in this situation, 知らない is almost like you're refusing to answer. So if someone asks you if you know something, like blah blah 知ってる? You can just say 知らない And if someone asks you with the interrogative words like 何時か知ってる? 誰か知ってる? どこか知ってる? You can either say 知らない or わからない casually and 知りませんわかりません formally. But if someone asks you 週末いつも何してるの? なんで日本語を勉強してるの? クリスマス何するの? If they are asking your plan, your daily life, or your reason why, your motivation, and you don't know or you're not sure, please say わからない casually and わかりません formally. Also, when someone is worried about something and they say, for example, 先大丈夫かな? Or 何かあったのかな? Or どうしたのかな? If they seem worried, if you say 知らない it means I don't care. So you have to say わからない here. I'm not sure. I try to think why or I try to think what happened, but I'm not sure. わからない. So to make it simple, if you're saying, let me think, I'm not sure, then it's わからない. But if someone asks you, do you know this movie? Do you know this book? Then 知らない or 知りません. And if they're asking, do you know what time? Do you know when? Or do you know who this is? Then you can either say 知らない or わからない. Also, if you want to say, I don't know what to do, or I don't know when, or I don't know if, we use わからない. So I don't know what to do, you'd say どうすればいいかわからない. どうすればいいかわからない. You wouldn't say どうすればいいか知らない. Or for example, I don't know when I will go to Japan. You would say いつ日本に行くかわからない。いつ日本に行くかわからない。Or if you're saying, I don't know if I will go, you can say, 行くかどうかわからない。行くかどうかわからない。And when you want to ask a question, so when you want to say, do you know this one? If you're asking whether that person's know it or not, then you can say, 知ってる? 知ってる? Or 知っていますか? 知っていますか? Like, do you know Mikuriel Japanese? Mikuriel Japanese 知ってる? Mikuriel Japanese 知ってる? But if you are asking, do you understand? Is it clear to you? Then you can say, わかる? わかる? You could also say, did you understand? Did you get it? You can say, わかった? わかった? After explaining something to someone. But わかった is also used when you call someone's attention. So parents say this a lot to their kids. Like, 喧嘩しちゃダメだよ. わかった? いい子にしててね。わかった? 野菜食べてね。わかった? Like, did you hear what I said? Or did you get what I mean? So you shouldn't repeat わかった? 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 to someone because it sounds like you're talking to a child. Also, as I explained earlier, 知らない also means I don't care. So if you're having a fight and you want to say, do whatever you want to do, whatever, or I don't care about you anymore, you can say, もう知らない. もう知らない. If your partner says this, it's a sign that they are pretty mad at you. So you might want to apologize them immediately. Okay, so I will ask you 3 questions now. Please answer in the comment section how you can answer saying I don't know. Okay, number 1. いつ日本に来るの？いつ日本に来るの？ Number 2. アルケミストって本知ってる？アルケミストって本知ってる？ Number 3. This one, let's say you're asked by someone you're meant to be polite with. Okay, so they say, 今日会議何時からか知ってる？今日会議何時からか知ってる？ And you want to be polite. Okay, so please answer in the comment section. Okay, I hope this video was helpful to you. And 皆さん, do you want to improve your Japanese fast? They did.
So I've been using Miku's Real Japanese products for a couple of months now and they are incredible. So I had no idea how beneficial it was to be speaking and saying out loud Japanese words and sentences until I started listening to a shattering audio on the way to work. And while I do get a few funny looks on the train for whispering some Japanese phrases, I actually have, my progress has shot up crazy amounts. So if you are looking for a way to improve your Japanese, I'd 100% recommend looking into Sensei Miku's products, just watching a couple of videos and seeing what her teaching style is like, and honestly, she's so lovely and you will not be disappointed. So, arigatou gozaimasu.
I've been traveling to Japan for over 20 years. I've lived there for 4 years. I'm currently the president of our Japan office, and on top of that, I've taken Japanese lessons many years. So I think it's fair to say that I know a little bit about Japan and Japanese. Of all the lessons that I've taken over the years, Miku Sensei's practical approach to teaching has really finally helped me to understand the everyday Japanese that people speak 80% of the time. She's also very keen on the student to speak the language. So in her audio file, she actually allows the student to speak twice, as a matter of fact. You do that by mimicking her or repeating after her exactly what she says, and that's in the audio file. So as you're listening to it, you are allowed, to go ahead and encouraged to basically repeat and speak it out loudly following her. That is a very helpful approach in my opinion, and that's helped me personally to become relatively fluent at speaking Japanese.
If you learned little something from this video, I would appreciate you so much if you could hit the like button and leave me a comment. It will help me so much to reach out to more Japanese learners. Okay, so いつも私の動画を見てくれてありがとうございます。次の動画で会いましょう。I'll see you in the next video. またね。ありがとう。